is a social media manager for coaches. She specializes in creating conversion-driven content and a social media strategy through specific targeted messaging that turns people's followers into paying clients. And Lorna is also an avid book lover, and her perfect idea of a weekend is a cozy stay in while losing herself in a good book. I absolutely love that. Thank you and welcome to be here, Lorna.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited.
Very excited to have you. Need to settle down a little bit myself. I'm so excited about this topic. So let's dig right in. Now, a lot of coaches and service providers struggle with creating content that actually speaks to their ideal client. So how do you keep a client, or how do you help a client nail that message so that it really lands instead of just being generic and then not connecting with anyone?
Usually the kind of noise that clients as coaches or service providers tend to focus with their content, it's usually a lot of noise where you're supposed to do this, do that in turn they forget to actually think about the dream client that they're thinking of attracting. And so I have a sit down with them and you're like, we need to go over this. We need to, for this specific offer, you have a general audience that you are working with. For example, I can say you're working with coaches. As a business coach, you're working with coaches. But now in your offer suite, your offers are categorized to meet somebody at a certain point in their journey. Maybe you have an offer suite that is an offer that is perfect for a beginner. Maybe you have an offer that's perfect for somebody who's in 6 figures and they're planning to scale to 7 figures. So now how do you ensure each of your offer is truly connecting and resonating with the type of client that you want to attract? It's by now nailing your messaging. And in your messaging, these are some of the things that I usually tell them to define. It's what's the exact problem that your dream client is facing that ties with this specific offer. What are the solutions that they've tried over and over and over again and they keep seeing the same results, or they're left in a worse position? What is the internal monologue? What is that voice in their head that they keep on hearing and that they keep on listening to instead of ignoring it? What's your framework? What's your transformation? How do you take them through this? How did you come up with your framework? Did you truly walk in the shoes that your clients are currently experiencing? If you have, talk about it. That's the kind of connection and the kind of messaging that those are the type of questions that now help that build that core messaging, where you're finding yourself now when you're creating content, somebody looks at your content piece and they're like, he, she, they see me. Like it's like you're spying on me. You're spying on my Tuesday night. It's like you hear my 3 a.m. thoughts. That type of focus. That's what helps them. Have that kind of finger pointing messaging, and now helps them now create that content that attracts, nurtures, and converts the ideal people.
Oh, Lorna, great advice. And now, how do you recommend that they listen to their customer in this way? Is it, especially if somebody is newer and maybe can't ask their customers directly, how would you recommend that they find those answers?
For somebody who's starting out, the best way to sell your offer is through you. This is why I'm talking about share your own point of view, share your own journey, because for you to create this offer, for you to decide to become a coach, a service provider, it means that you've noticed something. You noticed a gap in the market, you noticed a gap in the industry that you yourself were experiencing, and you saw the tools that you had available weren't suited for your needs. So you came up with your own way to help you overcome this problem, to help you overcome this challenge, and you found this solution and you're living in it, you're embodying it. So when you're starting out, you are the best way to sell yourself. You're the best way to sell your offer, because now you're talking about the embodiment of it. You are the working result. You are practicing and preaching whatever you're planning to sell. So that's how you're able to now connect with your audience. Because if you don't have any testimonials, if you don't have any better clients whom they gave you testimonies in exchange, you are the best person to sell yourself. Your own story is the best way to sell yourself when you're beginning.
Exactly. And then to listen to what their audience is saying, they can still get that information by going into groups and other areas where, or maybe following somebody else who already has their ideal client and really looking at those conversations, right? Picking out those pain points and some of the things that they're saying as well, some of those points that you mentioned.
Yeah, and for the questions that you're in terms of utilizing groups, make sure you're asking nuanced questions, because when you ask general questions, the feedback that you'll receive won't be, quote unquote, appropriate for the type of clients that you want to attract. Make sure it's nuanced to the type of client that you want to attract, and it ties with your offer, because that's the best way to get feedback and not just general, questions. Yeah.
Great input. Now, I know you teach that there are 4 different types of buyers on Instagram and that each one needs something different to move forward. Can you walk us through what those 4 types are and what makes each tick?
Okay, there are 4 buyer types that exist on the online space, and higher chances that you might have 2, 3, or all of them in your audience. So how are you able to differentiate these buyer types? One is an amiable / emotional buyers. They value relationships. They want a long-term partner. They want to work with somebody who truly gets them. They are driven by emotional connection and vibes. The next type of buyer we have is an analytical buyer. They value data and cold hard facts. They take time in making decisions. They want details, deliverables, expectations, and the ROI, which is return on investment. They want case studies with specific metrics, and which is this is the cherry on top for them that seals the deal. Then the next buyer type that we have is an assertive buyer. They are goal-oriented. They are decisive and competitive. They are driven by getting ahead or a form of fear of missing out. They want you to get to the heart of the pitch right away. So no dilly-dallying, no stories, you bore them. Get straight to the point. They want you to speak directly to what they're experiencing. They want you to emphasize on why specifically your offer, why specifically your framework. And now last, we have the expressive buyers. Relationships are important for them as well. They want case studies with current clients, not past clients, the people that you currently have in your cohort, in your offers. They want you to share your client retention rate. They will make decisions based on their beliefs and how that decision affects others. And unfortunately, most of the time with coaches or service providers, when they're creating content, they only focus on one buyer type, and that's the analytical. The one who values data and cold hard facts. Unfortunately, people find themselves speaking to only this buyer type, and they neglect the other buyer types. And sometimes these buyer types can be 2 in 1. Somebody can be an analytical buyer, and somebody can also be an expressive buyer. So by you focusing on just one type of buyer, you're neglecting the other aspects or the other buyer types, and this is why you're finding it's so hard for you to sell your offers or your services on social media or on Instagram specifically, because you're only focusing on that person. And for that and as I've stated, the analytical buyer takes time in making decisions. So while you are here waiting for somebody to hop into your DM or somebody to fill in your application form the moment you post on your stories or the moment you post your content, this person will take their time. And sometimes it can be 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. That's how long it can take for them to make those decisions. And yes, those are the buyer types that exist currently on the online space.
And even more reason why we need to focus on all 4 and not on just that analytical, right?
Yeah.
So can you give us an example of how you can take a week's worth of content and still make it feel like you're focusing on each buyer type so that they're seen without the creator feeling scattered and feeling like they have to create separate pieces of content for each?
Okay, so I'll share the messaging framework that I utilize and the content types that I use when creating content to ensure that I'm speaking to at least minimal three buyer types or 2 buyer types at least, or in the rare cases, all of them. So for the messaging framework that I utilize, and that I ensure my clients are able to truly fill out and get to the heart of their offer is, number 1, what's the exact problem that your ideal audience has? this specific type of client that you want to attract, the solutions they've been using that keeps them running around in circles, or even take them a step back further. What's the internal monologue my dream client keeps on having? Those type of share the framework solution that can help them get out of the quicksand that they're in. Show why I am the person they should entrust with their time, energy, investment, and trust. Show them the transformation they can experience once they overcome this specific roadblock. Now, once the client fills out this messaging framework, and it's not just about one-word answers, I usually encourage them to word vomit, for a lack of better word, to word vomit, because the more angles that you give, the more different ways you'll be able to find yourself now connecting with your audience and ensuring that you're speaking to all these buyer types that currently exist. And now for the content types that now ensures that I'm truly nailing the head with, and I usually recommend at least posting frequency 3 times per week. And this 3 times per week ensures that you're at least speaking to 1, 2, or all the buyer types that exist. And the content types that I utilize as one, a detailed value type of content. This content isn't some Google type of knowledge, but rather detailed to your ideal clients. You're optimizing it for a specific person. This high-level client wants to know that you can help them, not that you can help the masses with everything that they're going through. This doesn't mean that you can't post to the masses, but it needs to be a nuanced, value-driven content. If you're desiring to work with somebody who's more advanced, you ask yourself, what are these nuanced things that they're experiencing? For example, give me a moment, kindly. Okay, sorry for that. For example, the mass post that you might, or somebody might create is how to launch. But a more nuanced post will be what to do once you've sold out your launch, and now you're scared you won't be able to guide these people that you've brought into your cohort. That's a nuanced type of, problem. That's a nuanced type of value. So this is the one content creation type you can create. The second one, why me? Now this positions you as the authority. Your dream client will be asking themselves, why should I pick you? Why should you be the one to guide me in this transition? Why are you the person to help me solve this problem? You can tell stories from your own personal achievements, which are recent, or they can be from the past, as long as it's relevant to the content that you're creating or the offer that you're selling. The challenges you've overcome that your dream client is currently going through, stories of your past and current client that, the different, that positions why you are the person they should go to, how you've helped your clients overcome the challenges, navigate the icky bits that they are experiencing to the journey that they want to get to. And then share stories behind your framework, your method, and share stories of how you got to where you are. These stories are what make people remember you. It typically gets the most engagement. So if you're trying to up your visibility, this is also a great way to do so, because people love to get the gist, to get the gossip, for lack of a better word. So for you sharing your story, how you've walked the talk, the stories behind your framework, it's also a great way to connect with people. And also, as you see me mentioning these content pieces in reference to the buyer types that I've mentioned, you're seeing it tick some of the the boxes in the different buyer types. So as you see, you're slowly ensuring that you're truly nailing the head in speaking to the different buyer types that exist in your audience. And final, the catalyst type of content. This is content that is not just to motivate people, it's actually to spark a fire in them and make them move. Because sometimes you can post a good motivational quote that inspires them, but not actually gets the ball rolling for them. It's like the more you wait, the more your dream gets further away from you. That type of content. So this content is where I'm now providing that mirror-like effect of the reality that they're living in, so that they're like, this is so me. I needed to hear this. I need this now. And this is what will make your dream clients get off the fence and come running, with their credit card in hand. It's how, now think of this content piece where, as I mentioned in the questions that I utilize to create the messaging framework, what's the internal monologue that your dream client constantly has that cripples them and keeps them in the same place? Now say it on their behalf. Now they bring out that thought into the wild, into the open, so they can be able to see it now, not only from their mind, they're now seeing it laid out for them. And they're actually now seeing how it's crippling them, how it's keeping them in one place. So yeah, those are the 3 content types that I utilize for my content, or how I help my clients create those type of content, so that they're able to truly hit the nail on the head whenever they're communicating to their audience, and as well as ensuring that they're at least speaking to 1, 2, or all the bad types that exist in their audience. Yeah.
Lorna, fabulous input. Really appreciate it. Love to hear how to connect with all of those different buyer types. And that brings me up to the next question that I have for you, because a lot of business owners notice that they have followers who consistently view their stories or like their posts, but they never actually comment or DM. Instead, if they run into them in a meeting or they see them out and about, they'll mention it, but they're not actually seeing it in their social media posts. So how do you suggest identifying and connecting with those quiet followers?
Okay, so this is one of the, it highlights to also one specific buyer type, people who want you to build a relationship with them. So these silent fans are people who will never miss your stories. They may never like it, but whenever, as you've mentioned, whenever you're coming across a space with them, they'll always mention how your content is changing their life, how it's inspiring them, blah, 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 all that type. So it's now at this point for you, if they're not reaching out, it's up to you to reach out to them. And this doesn't mean that you reach out in an icky way, especially so you can create an avenue that allows you to slide into their DMs without it feeling the ick. You can create an interactive poll or ask a question that they give an answer in the question box. So once they give that answer, if it's a question that will provide value to your audience, share it, and then you can now slide into the DM and be like, hey, hi Tracy, thank you so much for sharing that question. It's something that I've seen people sharing the DMs as well, that they resonated with it. So, and thank you so much. Is this something that you've realized? You're now creating a point of connection where it doesn't feel icky, you sliding in, and it also gives you an avenue of now building that connection with them and continuing the story from there. So utilize their polls, utilize the question boxes. When somebody votes on your poll, let's say you can say, which is your favorite, with pumpkin spice latte now coming in. So you can say, are you up to the hype, or are you out of the hype of, with the pumpkin spice latte? And people who vote yes or no, you can slide into their DMs and be like, hey, maybe if you also hate it, you can now have that point of connection and be like, I also hate it. Thank you so much for voicing that out. Or if you like it and that person, let's say, hated it, and you'll be like, it breaks my heart, but I understand maybe the test that, you're finding an icky way, a fun way to truly slide into the DMs and open that door. And you'll find more often than not that when you open that door, somebody will message you and be like, I've been meaning to ask you about this offer. And you see now, because you've opened that door, somebody now had the courage to ask you about your offer, and they end up being a client just because you found a way to truly get to know them, and found a way to slide into the DMs without it feeling so icky, to you and to them as well.
I love that, Lorna, especially, sliding into their DMs with conversation, getting to know them. You're not sliding into their DMs with your offer. That is the most important thing to learn here. I want people to really know, don't do that, because that will create the ick that Lorna is telling you to avoid, because it really is about making that connection before we do it. And we've all had those weeks where story views plummet, or our reach gets cut in half, or is non-existent, and it's so tempting to just stop posting. Are there ways that we can still stay connected and even convert when that algorithm changes, or when we're not seeing the activity that we've seen in the past?
Now, this is the best time for you to now build those relationships, because you can still sell in the DMs. There's no reason for somebody to come hop on the sales calls and whatnot. So if you're finding your reach is getting low, getting the response that you want in your content, open up the relationships with people in the DMs. Is there somebody the DM conversation went cold? Check in on them and be like, hey, it's been a minute. How have you been? Blah, blah, blah. Open that door and get to know people, get to understand them. And if you also follow them, and you see on their stories they're sharing their own personal life or the updates in their business, get to connect with them as well. And if you've stalked this person, you've seen like this person will be a great fit, will be a great person to have in my world, make sure that the questions that you're asking her or him or they is intentional. Get to ask a personal question and also get to know it, ask a business question depending on the type of service that you have, that you're having simultaneously, so that you're getting to know them and getting also a better understanding of your business. So if your reach is down, if the views are low, if the story views are low, first create a point of connection on the stories. Despite it being low, have that poll, have that question box, open that door. And now when people are coming in, when people have responded, now slide in, connect with them, get to know them. And remember, you need to have patience, especially if you're finding that building connections or, in the DMs feels so painfully slow. It can be slow, it can be fast, just depending on the type of person you're connecting with. So the first thing that you need to understand is to have patience for you to truly bring people into your world who are aligned, and for people to feel like they were not pressured into joining your world, that you truly get to go to know them and understand them. Remember, as I mentioned, we have buyer types who value that relationship. So get to know them, get to understand them, and don't hurry yourself. Even if you've identified this person would be a good lead, don't bring up the business conversation in an icky way where they're like, red flag, it seems this person just wanted to get, my money. Yes. Build that connection, build that, relationship, chat with them, get to know them, get to know the name of their dog, what their son is doing, what their daughter is doing, about all those types of things. And when you see them sharing something about their business, now bring in that business aspect and get to know their business as well. Or, and once you have opened that door to the business side, now keep the personal and business side hand in hand. So that they don't feel forced, or there's this type of vibe that can appear when it's just business questions all throughout. They'll feel like they're being interrogated. No. So having that personal and business question mixed in creates that vibe where they see you're getting to know them and they understand you're getting to ask about their business, because people understand you're here to sell your services, you're here to sell your offers. So they'll understand you getting to ask that business question to understand them better, and they'll value that, because it's not just about you assuming they have a need and pitching what you thought was the perfect fit. That slams door very quickly. So getting to know them,
it's not that. Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing. Even when you are able to open up to those business questions, really asking the questions that really identify whether they are a good fit. It's no longer those days where everybody's the buyer for what I have. It's not true. It really never was true. It's what created the ick. It's why people don't like salespeople. And it is something that's so easy to change. I always tell the people that I'm working with is that, you're not going to just, instead of coming up to me and meeting me for the first time and shaking my hand, you're not going to just give me a kiss. Like, that's not what we're going to do here. So why
or propose?
Or propose. Yes, exactly. So why do that in your sales? Don't rush it. Take the time, get to know them, really find out if it's a good fit. And then make sure before you offer whatever you're going to offer, to ask them if they're interested and if they'd like to hear more before you just do it. Don't just send a link. Don't just send your monologue of your long pitch to them and say, I know you're going to love this. Make them say that they're interested before you send it. The relationship is so much nicer when you do that. And then even what I love about doing that is, if they're not interested in the offer, now they feel safe to say it, instead of just saying, and pushing you off for whatever reason, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, there's no need for you, even if or the answer that they've provided feels like this offer is a perfect fit, no need for you to send everything over and overwhelming them with the information. Check the aspects that relate to what they have stated, so that now they can be able to feel like this offer truly is that perfect fit for them. Because when you overwhelm them with with information, they'll be like, oh, this is too much. Even if they can afford it, they'll be like, I don't see the value. So no. Yeah. Tied to what they stated, tied to their need, and you'll be able to also see that they'll truly connect with what you're saying, and also you sign up to be a client.
Perfect advice. Now, you mentioned overwhelm, and Instagram can feel overwhelming. There's so many different options: reels, stories, lives, carousels. How do you know what to post when? And what are 3 things that we can be focused on with Instagram and just really keep that focus so that we're not overwhelmed, but we can stay consistent?
One thing that I'll explain through now my own point of view. Currently, right now, I've been able to successfully complete my 4-year degree. So I'm at a point where now I'm truly now trying to find a schedule that works for me. So that also means now in content creation. So right now, my capacity means that I'm able to post 2 times or 3 times per week on my content feed, and I'm able to at least 3 times per week post on stories. But what I've focused mainly on is in the DMs. So this now ties into the most important aspect that I believe is important for your Instagram: your content feed, your stories, and your DMs. That's it. Don't focus on the broadcast channels, don't focus on the notes, whatever, or the latest Instagram feature that they're releasing. Your stories is the best place to connect with your people. Build that fast connection, so that you're able now to come into the DMs and chat with them deeper and get to know them better. Your content feed, this is where if somebody wants to stalk you, they can stalk you in peace when they come into your content feed and find the content that you're creating is truly for them. So this can be with posts or with reels. What I can suggest with posting on your feed is find a posting frequency that aligns with your energy and your capacity. If you think posting 5 times a week is in your capacity, do so. If you think 3 times per week fits your energy and capacity, do so. There's no perfect way to post on your Instagram, but finding a rhythm that works for you provides better results than forcing yourself to do something that isn't in alignment. Because when you do something that's out of alignment with you, out of your energy, out of your capacity, that's the fastest way to burn out. So those are the 3 aspects of Instagram that I believe you should be focusing on: stories, DMs, and content feed. Because that's the point you'll be able to build more connection. As I met in the buyer types, a buyer type will just need to see one content piece of yours. They'll head into the link and they become a client. Others, they'll see your content feed, resonate with it, follow, consume other content posts, see your stories, talk on your stories, once in a while hop in your DMs, and they'll become a client. So you see, those are the 3 aspects that they constantly rotate in. So those are the places that you should be focusing your most energy in. Yeah.
Oh, great advice. And thank you, Lorna, so much for everything that you've shared about Instagram and just social media really in general, and how we can connect more with our ideal clients. I really appreciate it. If people would like to find out more and get in touch with you, how can they do so?
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure answering this. I can talk about this for ages. So yeah, thank you so much for giving me the space. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me the space to do so. The best way to connect with me, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is The Social Haze Business. That's my Instagram handle. The same with Threads. If you're on Threads, I'm on Threads as well. So you can follow me on Threads as well. The Social Haze Business. If you would like to stalk my website, it's just thesocialhazebusiness.com. If you'd like to snoop around and see what's going on with the Social Haze Business and Lorna, that's the link that you can utilize, thesocialhazebusiness.com. Yeah, that's where you'll be able to get all the necessary information you need. And feel free to DM me and tell me you found me on Tracy's interview, and I'll truly send a thank you note to her, because it shows that, it's working. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lorna. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you and everything that you're doing.